always download both the Zingo TV app on the respective app stores on iOS and Android. While you download, make sure you leave a comment. The app's completely free. Zingo TV is also available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire and Fire TV sticks, Roku and Roku TV sticks, and all TVs 2016 and forward. Whew, that's a mouthful, Loren. So thank you so much tonight. And again, tonight, y'all, for being here, we have brought on the most amazing, talented, beautiful person that you could ever hope to meet in your entire life.
Oh.
Now, why do I say that? Because I've known her for many, many, many years, and she always looks spry and drop dead gorgeous. But she's a mom, she's an entrepreneur, she's a world changer, she's an author, she's a public speaker. It'd probably be a shorter list if I just told you what she doesn't do. What she doesn't do is anything halfway or negative. So tonight, please welcome to the YBL show, my dear friend, Loren Lahav. And thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, because y'all, this woman is a mover and a shaker, and she's living life at the highest level. So thank you for being here, my friend.
Well, I am beyond honored. That music got me going. I was dancing. I'm like, I'm glad you didn't turn the camera on, because you would have seen the party happening right here. But thank you so much, Chuck. It is
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Hey, tonight, and this show is organic. So thank you all for always tuning in and sharing with us. It's important. This show is for about everyday people living everyday lives and trying to figure out how we can all grow together. We're all at these different places, and we're living some very interesting times right now. And Loren is someone who has an exceptional skill, and that is she sees the beauty in literally everyone, everything, all the time. I don't know how she manages to do this, because in my plebeian mind, my 10 million-year-old monkey brain, it doesn't always get those distinctions, but somehow she finds the love, light, and happiness in things. And so, Loren, I really was hoping tonight you could share with us how do you find the time and the ability to take care of yourself, and through taking care of yourself, expand that where you get to share your story and your gifts with other people?
Well, I think I learned it. We always talk about the two best ways to learn are through stories and by putting people in an experience. And I love to read. I don't know about the rest of you, but my life really changed, and making that a priority. There's two situations that I can think of. One was I read a book, and it was about the Delaney sisters. I don't know if anybody knows who the Delaney sisters were. They're the two African-American sisters. One was the very first one to graduate from Emory Dental School, and they never had a phone, because they said the only reason that people use a phone is they want to know if you're alive or dead. So if they really want to see you, then they'll come out and visit you. And they were talking about their mother, that when she sat at her desk, and there was the Bible at her desk, and there was a picture of Abraham Lincoln and a picture of her family that were on the wall. And everybody knew when it was Mama's time, when Mama sat down at her desk. And for me, that I was like, I need to create that sacred space for myself. And so I think it started when Joss was born, which was 28 years ago. And everybody knows when it's Mama's time and my time, and it still is to this day. My husband laughs at me. It's pretty funny. He really wants me to put up a post about this. I'm in the bath, and everybody knows that it's my time when I go into the bath, and nobody bothers me. Like, I'll come home, and Ash will be, I'm like, I'm on my way home, Ash, and she will draw me a bath, right? And she knows it's Mama's time. So I think that creating a sacred space is really important. And what I love is that I noticed that my kids do that now, or that my spouse does now. So that was one thing. The other time was actually right before Joss was born, and I was working an event, and I'm sure I'm the only woman or a man out there that I'm sure men don't ever go through this challenge, but especially as women, we go through this challenge of playing the martyr. Like, I got to figure it out. I got to do it on my own. I got to go to the end. Like, what'll happen if I don't stay till the end? I was pregnant with Joss, and we were loading out an event. And it was like 3 a.m, and I am lying on the floor in the supply room, literally 7.5 months pregnant. And I'm like, you guys go here, go there, go do this and that. And I remember going, what am I doing? And I stood up and I said, I want to apologize to all of you. I have been playing a martyr right now. And I'm going and I'm about to have my first baby. And I am not being a great leader right now because I'm showing you that everything else is more important than taking care of me. And I'm leaving. I'm going, who's willing to take all of this on? And I think that's when I went from being a little like whiny little martyr girl to becoming a real woman and stepping into knowing the importance of taking care of myself.
That is so brilliant. It's really perception of self and honoring thyself. There's this ideology that if we live in martyrdom or in contribution or volunteerism or generosity, that karmic bank is going to fill back up. And I go, wow, if all you're ever giving yourself is pennies and you're giving everyone else gold bars and all the coins, the valuable, pieces of 8, then you're always working at a deficit.
Yeah.
And if it was the auction mass scenario, they don't say, oh, put everyone else's on, and then if there's one left over, you too. And so and I know it seems so silly, right? To go even there. The challenge is when your energy's low, because you're not acknowledging self. And we are, oh Lord, we've lived this lifestyle where we're like, commitments. I've made all these commitments. I can't let everybody down. Got to fight through, got to burn all the boats. And I go, you know what? When you're 7.5 months pregnant, you better freaking have had the life raft sitting over to the side.
Right. Yeah. Well, like even just recently, I'll just share something just as a real life experience. I'm setting up for an event that we're putting on this weekend. And so this morning I went to go set up at the studio, came home, some friends of mine are in town and they want to do a sourdough party. And so they're downstairs doing a sourdough party. And I guess I'm known for doing an Irish exit. Is that what it's called? Like I just like go. And so but I was like, I've got a call with Chuck in 30 minutes. I have to make sure to go take care of myself. Could I have done that? Stayed down there, gotten it done, figured it out. Yes. But I knew that I had to go refuel. So I literally I went up, I took some time out and now I'm refreshed and now I feel good. And now I don't feel like, oh my gosh, like what are they thinking? Because I'm not finishing up and doing that. Right. So
well, you look amazing as you always do. And but this is to that point. We've both seen people who have gone out even on stage and something was just off. It's not that they looked bad, but like their energy wasn't there. There wasn't this like light. There wasn't this connection. And I had started asking myself going, whoa, what happened where they dimmed themselves?
Yeah.
And it kind of goes back to these modalities that we learn, right? It's like there's these 6 human needs and we'll do almost anything to meet them. You go, well, if someone's not feeling secure in themselves in the moment, their energy drops. And you're not really willing to go into the world of uncertainty or variety at that point because you're going to go back to what you know.
Right.
Sometimes, doesn't that feel like calculated? Almost like robotic? They'll go into conversation or talk or speech rather than, oh my gosh, welcome everybody. We're here. We're going to have some fun. It's like, welcome. Let me tell you, it's like, whoa, who's this person? It doesn't even seem like the same personality.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, well, what would I say about that? I'm just trying to think of like what's going on. Like for me, there's a really important, I think we talk about if you look at, and we've been in this world of, personal growth for a long time, right? Mine's 34 plus years now. And I realize it always comes down to 4 things. Always comes down to 4 things. It's the identity that you have for yourself, right? Like you see, I'm obsessed with manifestation board and it's not about things. There's probably like no things even on my board, if maybe like one thing on each board, but it's more about like, who do I need to become? How do I really want to be seen in the world? Right. I want people to be able to come into my house. I always, whenever somebody comes to town, I'm like, come on over to my house. Cause I want them to see this is my life, right? Like somebody just said, the guys over there fixing the putting the closet in for Asher, like, man, there's a lot going on. Yes, but I want people to see that I walk my talk.
Yes.
In those but I think that it always comes down to 4 things: the identity that you have for yourself, right? The rituals that you do, like what are those rituals? We do our priorities, as we know, and the questions that we ask. And most people ask some pretty dang bad questions, and they wonder why they get those results. And then the people that you surround yourself with, your community, your tribe, whatever you want to call it. But if you really, kind of like how you use the 6 human needs, as a great barometer for things, I use those 4 things for me to help me show up at 100,
Yes.
at that time. And if something's off, I look at, okay, what formula am I not following? Am I asking myself a question that's not serving me? Did I forget to do one of those rituals that I didn't do? Am I coming out here to really serve, or is it because of some other reason, my ego or whatever that might happen sometimes? And then the tribe, I don't know about you, I don't say yes to everything.
No.
Like, I don't. And so I know when I say yes to something that's not true to me, then I'm going to be off.
Yes.
I'm serious. Like, and I feel it. Like, I know, like, when it's like that, it's like, this is off. I know. So
I've had those times of resistance yeses. You're like going, okay, like, we really need you. And like, oh, against my better judgment, I'm going to go ahead and do this. And I pray that they're going to get the best Chuck Hogan. I know that you, even on your worst day, is amazing. But when I've seen you when you're like on, you're like going, are there doves? Just did the skies open up? Because why? There's this energetic release that happens too. And to your point, I don't say yes to everything. That got me in some trouble in some different organizations, because I started saying maybe and then no. And they were like, oh, but you're the yes guy. And I go, I know, I'm growing up.
Right. Yeah.
And I love what you said, and thank you for this. Those rituals and better questions. I'm a simple guy. You know that in me. And I started making it all about, how do I need to feel? Because those 4 things that you talked about, I go, what's at the energetic center of all these? I go, feelings.
Right.
If I don't feel good about it, if I don't get that gut feeling or that spiritual or that head feeling, that heart feeling, I go, okay, wait a second, something's off.
Yep. Absolutely. It's funny that you said that, because we have a lot of tools in our toolbox. And me too. I'm kind of like attentional Kmart shopper. Like, if a 3-year-old can't figure it out, then it's probably not, I shouldn't be teaching it, honestly. Like, I would love to, I hear all my friends talk and go in depth about things. I'm like, can you just teach me, like the simple things I can do, like, that to be able to explain this to a 3-year-old. And I don't know where I was going with this. What were you talking about? You said something.
It's all about the
What'd you say?
feelings. It's the feelings, like that core.
Oh, I know what it was. Yes, thank you. So I decided to take a tool that I've learned over the years, and I was going to apply it to every person when I had a conversation with people.
Oh.
So like even when you and I talked a couple weeks ago, and after our conversations, I'm like, how did I really feel after our conversation? And I was like, I felt freaking like elated. I felt excited. I felt inspired. I felt this and that. And literally every conversation that I have now, I go and I see, how did that really make me feel? Did I feel stressed? Did I feel like, oh man, they just want something, or, like, and I have found the magic that has shown up in my life since I've done that. I've been attracting even more amazing people, right? Like, I'm seriously, it's like, you don't kind of hang around, you don't call. It's kind of like no one's calling Loren unless like they know that it's gonna be lit up, right? Like that. Seriously, like I know that might sound a little woo woo to some people, and I think it's my energy that's putting that out there now. Yeah. Whereas before, I know in times when I seem desperate, and I mean, look, I'm 58 years old, but I feel better. I feel like I finally really know myself, own myself, and am true to myself at a level that I never have been before.
Bless you for that, because I'm 57, and it's one of those things where I go, I've earned these stripes. I don't have time for tomfoolery. I have a lot of time for play. So
Right.
people go, well, what's the difference? I said, well, and this is going to sound really crass. I'm going to put it out there anyway. I don't like ask holes, ASKHOLEs. And they're like, going, wait, what is that? I said, people who ask and then take whatever you have to say and throw it in a black hole. They asked out of some, assurance that they needed a pleasantry and that was the right thing to do, was to ask my opinion that they really didn't even want in the first place or need. And I go,
Yeah.
I'd much rather prefer that we have casual, cordial conversation and ask about each other's families and how everyone's feeling and what's going on in your world, rather than trying to go deep, and then it's not even genuine. And so, to your point, that tomfoolery, like being calculated, I go, real. That's what I'm attracting in my life. That's why you and I are in this engagement together. I go, I decided I want to be around people and network and connect with people I love and adore and appreciate. You are the company you keep.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, and it's so funny that you say that as well. I think it starts with awareness, right? Like when you're aware, sorry, life is busy. My dogs have definitely decided they want to be a part of the conversation. So I hope you're okay.
You're great.
She's okay. She's good. My girl, we call her Shadow because she's my shadow. But it's interesting, like when you're aware, I think that people don't understand how important awareness is. And I'm not saying it in some airy fairy way. I'm saying it as when you're aware, you make better decisions. You make better decisions in what you eat, in the people that you hang around, in the things that you say, yes to. So if there's anything that I would encourage everybody to do is to really think about, about heightening your awareness. My husband's in security. So when at all of my events that I do, for my ladies, I always bring in somebody to talk about awareness, right? Like how to scan a room, how to make sure, be aware of where when the people are always shocked when they say, oh my gosh, I apologize if I offend anybody, but like, oh my gosh, I got mugged. Well, what were you doing? I was on my phone. I was talking to my friend, and somehow, my purse was like, I was like barely hanging on to it. Well, when you're aware, you're going to make better decisions. And that's what, take some time to really look at, am I aware of the things that I'm saying yes to? Or am I on autopilot, like you said, because you were the yes man?
It's crazy because we get stuck in habits and rituals, and there are empowering rituals, and then there are some that are adopted rituals. The other thing that I really, and I love what you just said about awareness. We speak to our kids all the time about being present. Well, present means you're not on a device. Present means that your energy is centered and that you're owning the space around you, that your sensory acuity is up, not alarmed, but aware. And it's so important now because I see people crossing the street while they're on their phone looking down. And it only takes one driver, and it doesn't even need to take a vehicle. It can be a scooter, it can be a bicycle messenger, it can be, and it's that impact can change you for the rest of your life. Was the call that important? Was the TikTok video you were watching at that time so imperative? Was the Instagram post? Because this whole ideology that reality is social media, and I go, no, it's a way of communicating. And yet, when you're in the middle of your sleep at night, are you plugged in, or are you downloading and releasing? The universe gave you this beautiful way of detoxifying your brain when you sleep at night. That doesn't mean that you need to be uploading more things. And so, right? And there's this penchant now for growth. And like you just said, you've been involved in life enhancement for the better part of 34, 35 years. I'm right there with you, sister. And it's amazing how much energy and time you can invest into those experiences. And then I'm often reminded of like going, great, you learned a lot. You have a lot of books. There's a lot of shelf help up there.
Yeah.
Are you living it? It's like you have this beautiful gym full of amazing brand new equipment, but the gym's 20 years old and the equipment is still brand freaking new. It's like, oh, are they just clothes hangers? Or are you actually going to lift those bad boys? Are you going to walk on one? Are you, it's like, wow, is that 3 inches of dust? Holy smokes, I didn't even know there was that much dust accumulation. And so it's never about options, it's about commitment and that we get to. We don't have to do anything.
Yeah. Right. I think that once again, I think that I'm just going to go back to, we do our
Yeah.
priorities, right? We do our priorities bottom line with everything. And it comes back to, you said something, like the whole shelf help, that my whole thing is that, you got to get off your ass and you got to go do something. There's a guy, and his name is Larry Thompson. And then everybody wants to know, like, what are the things that I need to do? And I love what he says. He goes, go to the gym. You got to, he doesn't, whenever someone goes, but Larry, I'm not getting these results. He goes, did you go to the gym? Did you lift the weights? So when they go, well, I didn't know, and I couldn't this and this and this. He goes, did you go to the gym? And he's not talking, it's a metaphor,
Yes.
right? It's like, did you go to the gym? Did you go and did you do the work?
Yes.
That's the bottom line. So, if you're not getting, did you really say, I don't have the money? Did you save $1 every day? My daughter's so cute. I love her. She's now basically a manager for this. She's 16 years old, and she's got like 2 full-time babysitting jobs, and she's in school. She's got straight A's, and she has a boyfriend, and she's basically, this guy wanted her to manage his spa. I mean, she seriously is like his right hand. He calls her and he's like, how did it go today? How does, I'm like, oh my God, Asher, like, you're like literally running this whole thing for him. And she goes, Mom, I've decided, I learned from you that if I just save a little bit every day, if that's all that I do, she says, so for every check, when I'm getting paid, I make sure that it immediately goes to an account where it's $1 a day, that I'm going to be saving. So I think that that's, once again, like, are you doing the work? Are you actually going to the gym? And you said something also that it's beautiful. I thought I'd just share this. No matter what anybody's religious beliefs are, it's a beautiful ritual that I started that's really made me feel good. You said about that you're kind of detoxing your, everything throughout the night, and a lot comes through your hands.
Yes.
Like, a lot comes through your hands at night that we don't realize so much is detoxing emotionally. Like I think they said your dreams are literally downloading through your hands. And in Judaism, you take your hands, and the first thing you're supposed to do in the morning is that you're supposed to pour water over your hands, each way. And I was like, oh my God, to all of that energy that came through you during the night.
Yes.
So I was like, I love that. And I will tell you the difference that it made, even if it's a placebo, I don't know, I feel better, right? Like, even if it's a placebo, I've noticed, like, that ritual of saying, I release all of the, the negativity that came through. Just that ritual, I feel, has taken my life to the next level.
Yes.
Anyway,
well, and it's spiritual, it's energetic. In Asian cultures, I'm from Japan originally, and it's interesting. So you'll see a lot in different cultures, like foot baths. And it's not only a sign of reverence, it's a sign of cleansing. It's a sign of purity. When babies are little, and you'll see, like, if you massage their ears, and you'll just see them lull off into sleep. Physiologically, the Chinese know this, is that all your meridian points run through your ears, your hands, and your feet. And so these epicenters of acupuncture and reflexology and acupressure have modalities, and many of these actually go back to ancient teachings in various religions as well. And so, to your point, these rituals, I will say that there's physiological engagement, there's energetic engagement, that for so many of us, especially in the Western world, we're just getting to understand and know some of these tenets, if you will. And then the other side of it too, and I thank you for this so much, is living your priorities. This is something that has gone out of whack.
Yeah.
And it's like, where does time, energy, and intention go? What's a priority and why? And can, I love, Lauren, if you wouldn't mind helping us elaborate on this, because I really do believe it's an area of deep confusion for people. They go, well, how do I get to pick priorities when I have so many things that I'm responsible for and I'm so busy? It's like, well, what do you need? What do you want? Your needs are far different than most of your wants. And when your needs are being met at a higher level, your wants change too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
I
what's a
I
priority?
I don't. People aren't going to like my answer on this.
Bring it, sister.
I I just don't understand why the drama about everything. Like I literally look at my day and I like so far it's what 4:30 in the afternoon and I'm like just getting started, not in a way like I feel like I have to go, in a way that I'm like I get this. I am so blessed to be have a day, another day above ground.
Yes.
I mean, I woke up this morning. I wake up at 5 a.m. Right? I wake up at 5 a.m. I have some really powerful rituals for me. I'm not saying you need to do my rituals. I think that everybody's rituals are different. I think that because once again, I don't know what's going on in someone's lives. I mean, I have a 5 minute meeting with God. I look out at the red rocks. I open up my, sliding glass door. I go outside. I sit. I meditate. I don't know I'm not a sit meditation girl, but I'm like do it in my way, right? And I go outside with my dogs. I connect. I blah blah blah. I go over. My friend created. So I really make sure that that is a number one because I know that we said about the oxygen mask. I like to look at it about the heart is a great example, right? You see me always wearing a heart. I'm always wearing a heart, no matter what kind of heart that it is. Now I've got double hearts, but we always say where's the very first place that the heart delivers blood to, and it delivers to itself. So
Yes.
just like the oxygen mask, anything else, like if I'm depleted, how am I ever going to be able to do anything to deliver to the rest of the world? And it is truly, I wouldn't even think that it's not about not doing those things,
Right.
right? And then I like my I am statements. I'm loving, I'm honest, I'm passionate, I'm compassionate, I'm kick ass, I'm full of faith, I'm God's girl, I'm 2 meter tight, I'm a sexy salsa dancer, I'm hilarious, right? And I think here's what I would say: nobody can take it away from you unless you give it to them. And we give our energy and our power way too much to people, and are like, you're not going to do that, or how can you do that, Lauren? You've already got this going on today. Yeah, and
Yes.
right. And so for me, I still took that time. When I get off the call with you, I'm going to go and I'm going to go in the bath for 30 minutes before meet this other group that I need to meet. So I call it my take five.
Yes.
Very simple.
Yep.
If you decided to take 5 minutes for your spirit every day, 5 minutes for your physical health every day, 5 minutes for your finances, 5 minutes for your contribution, right? 5 minutes for your relationship. So I have an alarm that goes off at 10:35, and I do a minute of squats. Not that I love it, but the alarm goes off and I do a minute of squats. At 12:15, alarm goes off. It says call someone or text someone that you love, right? So I take these, and so by the end of the day, take 5 minutes for just to sit and you're meeting with God, whatever that it is. And if you've done those things, you'll those excuses of I don't have any time, they just kind of disappear. I think
They
the
do.
other, right?
Well, and
But
scheduling it. I love what you're doing, and that is, if you don't do it, you're not gonna. If you don't schedule it, you won't do it.
yeah,
It's like, oh, that would have been nice. Oh, that would have been a great. I'll say, oh, that's a great platitude to be able to go ahead and say, oh yes, that would in a perfect world. And I go, schedule it.
yeah,
Because we overestimate the amount of time it takes to do things as well. I go, 5 minutes for a phone call. You can change your life and someone else's in 5 minutes.
yeah, yeah. And I think that like you just said, like I've decided to start something here in Las Vegas, and there's as you know, there's a lot of schools and people that aren't in the United States. I don't know if you know this. Is we have something that's called Title One. Title One are children that live below the poverty level. And then there's a program that's called Title One Hope. Those are children that live below the poverty level and are either homeless or they're living in transitional housing. So most, unfortunately, the majority of the school, most kids unfortunately go to school, not just because they want to go to school, it's because they're hungry, right? So every other month, I've adopted a school here, and we go do birthday parties for kids who've never had a birthday. They don't even know. Lots of them don't even know when their birthday is. They just know the month, literally.
Wow.
So every other month we go and we do birthday parties for the kids from the month before and in the month that we're in. And I pick up Asher at school because she's like, Mom, I have to go to the birthday parties. And I'm like, think about that, Asher. That whole time took us 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours every month to help 115 kids a month, right? But we schedule it. Like, we've got the schedule for the rest of the year, right? We've got, everybody's all set of who's bringing the presents, who's bringing the pizza, who's bringing the cupcakes. It's not that difficult. So I would say, if you want to enjoy your life and you really want to live that fulfilled life, the more that you just get her done, like schedule it, you know, use the resources that are around you, think who can you bring in, you will have your best life. Right? Like, I love the name of your show. I love everything that you know, your best life. I mean, you know, we're here to live our best life. I truly believe that.
Me too.
And the only thing that is really stopping all of us, right, is the choices that we're making. The choices that we're making is what's stopping us from having your best. And then and if you were to really want to have your best life, you got to go back and look at the rituals that you're doing, the questions that you're asking, the identity that you have for yourself, and the people that you're saying that you're hanging around. And you tell me after you really dug deep into those 4 things.
And that's the deal, is that it can't just be surface. I'm finding so many people that get frightened of themselves, and because they're starting to have these feelings and emotions, and they're like going, oh, I've never been this happy before. And then there's this old story. Well, am I really deserving of happiness? And so they'll self-sabotage and they'll start finding ways of screwing things up. They'll be in a great relationship and screw that up. And you're like going, whoa. So why?
And here's what I would say to that. You know, I love what you said, something about time, energy, and intention. When that happens, it still goes back to those 4 things that I just brought up.
It does.
Right? It's like, when you do who are you surrounding yourself with? Because if you're really surrounding yourself with the right people, you probably wouldn't sabotage it in that way, right? People would be cheering you on. People would be helping you ask better questions. People would be doing, you know, you'd be doing different things. You would be, you know, and then that helps you with, like, remembering the truth. Like, I feel very blessed. Like, there's a lady sitting right across from me right now as I'm doing this with you, has been a friend for 30 plus years.
Oh.
And she is one of those people that, you know, she'll kick me in the butt if I need it, to be like, Loren, what the hell are you doing now? That's not who you are.
Right.
So I think that you got to hold those people really close to you and seek out those people that are that it's no BS. Like, I have a part in my planner that I did, and the part that I really want people to do are my accountability buddies. And those, they give me a kick in the butt when I need to hear it, and not let me get away with excuses. That's how it's done. And so I got a list on here, you know, the ones who I know they're going to kick me in the butt and they're going to, like, hold me to it. Otherwise,
you know, it's authenticity is something that you have always exuded. It's one of the many attributes I've loved about you. And it's one of the things that attracted me to my wife. She is one of the most pure, authentic people. And when people meet her, it's one of those scenarios where seriously they go, you know what? Your wife's freaking amazing. I go, I know. And they go, you're okay too, but your wife, like, oh my, she's next level.
Well, but you know, not everybody loves me. Like, I'll just tell you, like, I mean, like, cause I'll kick you in the butt and I'll hug you. And some people don't want it. Like, some people don't want it, and that's okay. I am not for everybody. Trust me. right?
Oh,
Like, I mean, you've seen it with people. Like sometimes people but here's what I do know. My intention is always good. Like
yes.
I know, like some people might go, oh gosh, she's a lot. I am a lot, I do things messy. I I like things very clean. I like my house very clean. I label everything. This girl's like, oh my God, you're my girl. Like I think she was asking where the Wi-Fi password was. I go, it's on a label. She goes, oh, I love you. Like I love everything labeled. So I like everything labeled. I like everything clean. But I don't let the excuses get in the way of me taking action.
And that's the ticket. That's where I say that's where opportunity meets authenticity. It's
Right.
like I can't change. I'm not going to change who I am to meet someone else's false narrative of me. And on the other side, I'm not going to drop my standards.
Yeah.
It's I was speaking with someone the other day, a friend of mine, and they're like going, "When am I going to meet the right guy?" And I go, "When you allow them to see the real you."
Yeah.
And so there's this need, and they go, oh, but that's the game, Chuck. And I go, well, then there you go. I said, are you living your life, or are you playing a game that's a facsimile of your life? Because when you start to show up as real, that authenticity, that energy level, that vulnerability, that connection, that truth, you will attract different people. Because what I look for in my life is people who are willing to put on their pointy boots but kick me in the butt with love. It's
Yep.
like I know it's coming and I deserve it, and thank you for being real with me and holding me to that standard, because we all agreed to it.
Yep.
And that's the other side to this. Why would you want to be around people who placate? Why would you want to be around people who just think it's okay to live, get by? I go, oh, I hear this all the time, Loren. And I've changed. A couple decades ago, I changed my languaging. I ask people, I don't ask them how they're doing, I ask them how they're feeling.
Mm,
Because I'm not looking for that cognitive response of everything you do. I'm looking for, how are you feeling? Because that's the quality of your life is in direct proportion to how you feel.
I think people are just, I think, I mean, I like to walk around. It's interesting that you say that. So I'm share another story real quick. My
Please.
mom is like the female Nathan Lane. If you've ever met my mom, I think you met my mom. And she's like, oh, very dramatic and very big with her movements. And 17 years ago, when I just moved here to Vegas, my mom was living here as well. And my mom went to Whole Foods. I was not with her. She went to Whole Foods and she saw this woman in the parking lot. And she went up to me and she goes, oh, you have got the most beautiful body I've ever seen of someone. And the lady started crying and collapsed into my mom's arms. The lady goes, I can't tell you how much that means to me, because a month ago my son passed away. And she handed my mom this little card. It's like a little card and it had little mountains on it. And on the outside of it, it said, be kind like Josh. And so my mom brought it to me. She goes, this is something, looks like something that you would like. So it was a little card in it, and almost like a little envelope.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, Mom, did you read this? And she goes, no, this lady gave it to me. Her son passed away. And so I opened it up, and what it was a Cold Stone gift card. And what it was for was that for the valet guy. So when someone was nice to the valet guy would give it to the customer, this gift card. Well, if the story was about her son, Josh, and about just be kind to people, just be kind. That started. I don't know if you're familiar with the whole Be Kind campaign.
Yes.
That is because of this woman, the one that my mom ran into the parking lot. That was her that started this whole thing. And I think that the really reason that I brought that up is that 5 minutes, if you take that 5 minutes just to call that person, you really you have no idea. And you're not doing it for them. You're doing it, I have a little sign that every time I go through my garage, it's from Jerry McKinney. And it's from, Ireland. And,
Yes.
and and right there beside it also, it says, just do the right thing every doggone day of your life.
Absolutely.
Just do the right thing. Don't do it because I was expecting you to do it. Do it because it fills you, right? So my mom said that to that woman because it made my mom, she was like, I just, I just want to make someone feel good. But she didn't do it. She also did it for herself because she knew that why wouldn't I tell that woman she looks beautiful? Why wouldn't I do those things? So why wouldn't you take the time to make the things that you say you want your best life? Like, why wouldn't you do those things? And the noise is always going to be there. You got to turn off the noise. It's way too much noise.
There's all kinds of static running in the background, and what you just shared, and thank you for the story with your mom. It doesn't surprise me one iota. It's interesting. It's people who are open will share, and that innate sharing equals caring. It's not even something that has to be this what seems so simple. And we've seen this. You can be walking by someone and just say, "Have a great day," and you see them light up. Sometimes it's just a smile.
Yeah.
Or, like a thumbs up, or it's okay. And it's remarkable to see how that can change the disposition. There's a commercial that played a couple years ago, and it was kind of like passing it on. Like, young man helps a woman across the street, and so she's inside this place, and this person doesn't have enough to make the payment for their groceries, so she pays for the groceries. Then this person bakes a cake for someone who's having a party. And it's like, it just keeps escalating on and on and on and on. And it's this pay this forward ideology.
Yep.
And to see the smiles, and I know it's a commercial, but I go, wow.
No, but it's kind of like I go to Coffee Bean. I don't know if you have Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf here. And a company, I forgot the name of the company. It was a security company. They paid all day for people to get free coffees in the drive-through.
Yes.
Right. And even though they paid for it, every time, guess what happened?
Oh, it passed it on.
Said, you know what? I'm just gonna pay for the person behind me. And then it's already been paid by this company. They go, no, that's okay. I think I'm just gonna pay for the person behind me. So you never know the ripple effect that you are gonna start.
Exactly. I have a buddy, and his favorite thing is he'll go to like Starbucks and get a bottle of water, and he'll give $100 bill.
Oh wow!
And he'll go 15% for you.
Wow.
The rest of it, use it as long as it lasts till whoever's left. And they're like, "Are you sure, sir?" And he goes, "Absolutely." And one time he did this, he drove around the front and then just sat and watched people as they were driving through. And to see the smiles on their faces, and to see them like pep up, and he goes, that just felt so good. And he goes, something that seems so incidental, yet a complete stranger offering something as simple as to gift you a beverage.
Yeah. I know we got to get back to it. The people, I know there's a lot of darkness in the world, but we talk about this all the time that, darkness is going to be there. There's always going to be there, but it's, but it's our responsibility to be the light in the time of darkness. Right. And guess what? There can't be light unless there's darkness. So we need to be that. So I think that people have to realize that it's got to be there so that we can wake up and remember that it's our responsibility to do all these things and really live our best life. I mean,
it's that contrast is so important, Loren. And oftentimes people are trying to be so laser focused. And I remind people, a laser in the pitch black is very hard to find your target. A flashlight will light up a space. A floodlight will light up a wall. Just turn on the flicking light switch and illuminate the entire room so you can see opportunities. In this way, we don't need to discriminate. We don't need to judge, compare, contrast. We get to just turn the light on.
I love that.
And there's also the sanctity of shutting the lights off.
Yeah.
Sometimes just reducing all the light pollution, you need to see up in the night sky. You can see the North Star, you can see Venus, you can see the constellations. And slowing down is a beautiful thing too.
Yeah. I love to always say, sometimes you got to slow down so you can speed up. Right.
It's imperative.
But
there's no,
but then you got to get back out there. You got to get back on first. Like I see a lot of people that I've seen them slow down, and they just kind of like, oh, like this is good, slow, slow, slow.
they find the hammock. You're like going, okay, no, that's not what I meant. Loren, so for people to connect more with you, because you are such, if you haven't had a chance to meet this woman in person, if you haven't had a chance to go to an event or hear her message or experience her, Loren, where can people go to find you?
They can just go to LorenLahav.com. I mean, my big focus right now, as you know, is the Own Your Worth experience that I have happening March
Yes.
the 9th. Is a full awesome day. I'd love to gift, whoever you want, if they can tell you why they're living their best life, why they're living your best life. You have to let Chuck know. Anybody that comments here and tells us why you're living your best life or messages, I don't know how you want to do it. But that's the Own Your Worth experience. It's never too early to own your worth, and it's never too late to own your worth. So that's my passion right now, is really building that. So
You are such a treat. And again, thank you, my friend, for taking time. I do so know how busy you are, and thank your family as well, because you have so many different responsibilities, and just know that you're making a difference in this world.
Daphne, Chuck said thank you.
So I'm going to remind everyone as well. And again, Loren, we love you. Thank you, honey. This show can also be heard on the Spanglish World Radio Network. Please check us out for all the news and the programming. Spanglish World. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it, and live it.
Thank you.